All right. Beyond the Breaks, episode 4. Myself, Chris, joined with the two Stooges. P. Gilly, aka Gilly Mo Betta, aka Gilly Mo Pena, aka Gilly Mo. What's up,
Yo,
brother?
yo, yo. How we doing? How we doing? Just want to give a quick shout out to my guy Danny. I'm sorry about Trayvon Diggs, bro. That's rough. That's rough.
I don't think you're that sorry. I just don't. That didn't seem genuine. It seemed almost too genuine, like you were forcing that to be genuine.
No,
Danny,
I feel legit. I feel legitimately bad. I feel legitimately bad. That sucks.
it does suck.
Yeah,
Injuries suck. And
yeah.
like, listen. Danny's team, the Cowboys, just slaughtered both Tristan's team, the Giants, my team, the Jets, and yet we still feel the compassion. That's what sports is all about. It's about the love. Danny
Yeah,
Danish, my dude, stepping
what
up
is going
for
on?
Tom. What's happening, brother?
What's
Big
going on,
Box
everybody?
Danny today. Big Box Danny.
Oh yeah, big box. You know.
For those of you
Yeah,
wondering what Danny's doing, he's actually sorting your breaks. Those of you who jump in our breaks,
yeah.
he's literally sorting them as we speak. So shout out to Danny, always on the grind, always doing the dirty.
Hence beyond the breaks. Beyond the
That's
breaks.
it. He is. I told him, he is the beyond the breaks part. Like we're just all talking, right? We're not actually breaking right now, whatever. He is the beyond part. He's the beyond end. He's the breaks because what's beyond the breaks?
Beyond.
Sorting and shipping. All right, we'll go ahead and jump in. We started the show a little early this week so that Tristan can try to catch his Giants. Um, get slaughtered by the 49ers. Shout out to Sal and Eric, a couple of 49er fans we have in the group. By the way, if you're not
What's
in the
up,
group,
Scott?
make sure you join us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/cardbreakers LLC. You can see it at the bottom, and make sure you get in there. Gilly, you ready for tonight?
For the game or for the podcast?
The game, but I guess both.
For for the podcast, I would say I'm exceptionally ready. For the game, no, I'm not ready at all. It's going to we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. But maybe we cover the spread. I don't know. I just don't see it with Saquon Barkley out, Andrew Thomas. Wandale's back, which is cool, but we need to start using Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt had 2 receptions, 80 something yards. He opens up the offense. We just need to do that. And shout out to the Giants. 20-point comeback. Shout out Daniel Jones. Shout out Daniel Jones. That's my guy right there. That's my guy right there. Jerry Rice jersey, bro. This is Victor Cruz, Sal. This is Victor Cruz, bro. What are you talking about? Dude, talk about Jerry Rice.
For anybody who doesn't know, Danish is the ultimate sports troll. I can't tell you how many like opposing stadium games he's gone to wearing the opposing team's jersey, whether it's his team or not. Whether it's his team or not, he'll wear a Cowboys jersey in Giant in a MetLife Stadium, whatever. Like he'll do that, and that's nothing. But he'll wear a Cleveland Browns jersey to a Jets game just because the Browns are playing the Jets. He is that guy, and as you can see here, he's got the old 49ers hat on.
We going Niners, yo. We going Niners tonight.
That's his way of
My
representing
my
Tristan.
The worst part is I literally gave him that hat a couple of years ago. That's what I literally gave him that damn hat. That's the funnier part about it.
Wonderful.
Uh,
All right, we're gonna get started. First segment, news in the hobby. Gilly, start us off.
this is on the Bowman Chrome side, actually. 2 superfractors of the same card have been pulled by 2 separate breakers. The card in question is of the Cleveland Guardians. Shout out, Tom. Victor is tourists. They were pulled by 2 separate breakers. And if I'm not mistaken, Chris has a picture up. Yeah, it was pulled by Filth Bomb, and I don't know who the other person was, but it looks like Top's quality control at its finest, if you ask me. It's crazy to me. That's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you really hate to see it. You wonder, like, I guess we'll wait and see if the autos ever pulled. You wonder if one of those were supposed to be signed or something. I mean, I guess not, because even the autos have an autograph stamp on it, right? Like top certified, whatever. So yeah, you really hate to see something like that. That's just like really the possibility when you pull a 1-on-1, thinking you're the only one who has the card, and like now you can't trust that because you've seen. That's a little sucks.
Sketchy.
But
Definitely sketchy.
I mean, at the same time, if he ends up being a good player, I don't think either of the two will care so much then. I mean, maybe they'll kill even more, right? But if this guy blew up and this card was one day worth $500,000, You know, like maybe somebody's greedy and they're like, that should be my 500,000. Maybe they're like, 250 each anyway. I don't know, but either way, not a good look. I don't like to see two one. It's no longer a one
Yeah,
of
no.
one. There's two of them.
Yeah, some of these Bowman Chrome cases I've seen broken are nuts. It's like they have like all the damn retrofractors in there too. It's like seven that they pull. It's actually insane.
You know what they should do? They should send it back, and Topps should just make it out of two. Put on imprint it 2 out of 2, 1 out of 2.
Something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't
they
have
gotta
two
do
I don't
something
know.
about
That's
that.
just like it's just weird.
Super, super
Strange.
weird.
All right, what's next?
On the next topic, the National in 2026 is going to be held in Chicago instead of Atlantic City. A lot of people thought it was going to be Atlantic City. They put it to a vote. They actually won on 170 to 111 votes. So they won by a pretty considerable margin. Atlanta's creeping there at 52. It'd be cool to see in Atlanta. I was hoping for it on our ground. So set out Jersey, shout out AC. But yeah, it's going to be in Chicago in 2026. I don't know. I'm not personally a fan of it in Chicago. That's just me, though. I've never been to it, but I feel like AC is just a better area all around than Chicago. That's just my personal opinion, though.
I mean, there's
Just to have it
obviously the
at.
people who vote on this seem to like it over there. We haven't made it to a show in Chicago. Maybe we'll make it to this one when the time comes. I wouldn't mind checking it out. We went to the National Atlantic City. That was cool. Obviously, like you said, Tristan, that's close to us, so it's an easy trip for us. I thought it was a really cool experience. So wherever it is, like we're gonna try to make more of an effort to have representation at them. But I do wonder what it is about Chicago, and because like we just had it in Chicago, right? Like it was just there. So obviously, people must have had a good experience to want to do it there again. But yeah, shout out to the National. Awesome, awesome shows every year. I would assume we're going to see more and more Fanatics based stuff. Hopefully, we find our way in there, getting the table at the next one, which I think is in Ohio, Tom's hometown.
Tom's hometown. That's going to be interesting. And
Yeah.
Tom's not here due to other commitments that he had. Just to be honest with you, he's probably crying about Nick Chubb like in the shower right now or something. I have no idea where the hell he is. He said he had other commitments. I just think he's crying because of Nick Chubb. But shout out Todd Messer calling us ugly mugs. I think he said that only to Danny though, not me, not Chris, because we beautiful. Me and Chris are beautiful. He said, not tonight, Gilly. Nah, not tonight, not tonight. But
Bottom of the building.
onto our biggest news story, in my opinion, this week. The WWE terminated their contract with Panini on trading cards for the same thing as the NFL, breach of contract. Apparently, this happened 2 weeks ago, and we only found out about it last night because Panini filed countersuit. So Fanatics is actually expected to get the rights immediately as opposed to the NFL, which is very interesting to me. And I was reading through some of the documents and all that. The WWE allegedly demanded Panini to immediately pay $5.6 million, the minimum royalties due under the contract, which I found interesting. And the WWE claims that the Panini didn't engage in good faith efforts towards cards and NFTs, which I don't get because in Panini's countersuit, they said that the WWE thanked them for basically tripling their profits on that margin. So that's just baseless to me, in my personal opinion. But this is where I was doing a little bit of a deep dive before the show. I see a connection here. This might be a little bit of a stretch, but I see a connection here. Earlier in the year, by the way, this happened on August 29th, and the news broke yesterday on September 20th. Earlier in the year, WWE partnered with the NFL to sell customized championship belts for all the teams on a multi-year licensing deal. So that happened August 29th. And currently, right now, it is September 21st. The NFLPA news about Panini losing their deal came out on August 22nd. The timing of all of that, so close, it smells super fishy to me, super suspect. To me, it just seems like Fanatics is cutthroating to get this monopoly right now. It seems like the higher ups are talking. It's super, super interesting to me. And WWE has been active in addressing its marketing campaign in the last couple of years. I mean, for years they have been sending customized belts to the Super Bowl winners as a sign of respect and good public relations. So, what's your thoughts on that, CK Cross?
Hey man, I love wrestling. Well, I don't really watch it anymore, but used to be a pro wrestler, so I definitely got love for the business, got love for the industry. WWE was a company that I, you know, would have loved to have worked for back then. But in terms of the contract, what I'm more interested in, that was like a different line. What I'm more interested in now is the whole breach of contract thing. Because to your point, there obviously seems to be some sort of collusion going on here, right? So whoever it was, the last we left off with the NFL was that, and we don't know, we don't even know if it's confirmed. It's just based off the stuff that we read and we heard that they were going to try
Yeah.
to leave because their contract breach or whatever was possibly the change in leadership or something. Because obviously, because Fanatics had scalped a bunch of people from Panini, so it kind of now, especially when you mentioned with the deal back in August, it kind of seems like maybe that person obviously had the main connections with the NFL, with the NFLPA, or I said the NFL, I meant the NFLPA, with the WWE. So there seems to be a connection there, right? Whoever this person is, he's trying to pull the strings on Fanatics side now, the same way he got the deals. Well, I'm assuming this person is the one who maybe got the deals from these people in the first place. Maybe now he's working for Fanatics and he's trying to do the same thing for them. And it's ruthless. It's business. They always say that the shrewd businessmen are the best ones. That's what they say. And Fanatics is kind of showing you right now. They're strong arming. They're not really concerned about monopoly laws. They're not concerned about any of that stuff. They're just rolling deep. So I was curious when I first heard the news. We hadn't heard of what the breach was. According to this article from Fightful.com, like you said, they're saying that it was a lack of good faith. So what that would mean to me is they feel like Panini was maybe not making as much money as they could, maybe because they didn't want to pay certain royalties when it was due. They tried to maybe keep the numbers down a little bit so that they can keep up. But the thing with that is, like, sometimes as a business owner, you always want to put your pedal on the gas and go. But sometimes you do try to do things to like boost your market a little bit, to boost your demand or whatever it may be. So sometimes you may hold things back for purposes of that. Sometimes cash flow can be an issue. Sometimes just maybe business was booming and you don't have enough to keep up with the demand. So you have no choice but to slow things down so that you don't, mess up your quality control or whatever it is. Not that Panini has much of that, but either way, I'm curious to see how it plays out because I'm wondering, if it was the same breach of contract that Panini was, that the NFLPA was gonna do, then I was gonna get real worried about Panini for the now because if the WWE is gonna move forward with their own breach, they must feel pretty confident they can get one. So I wonder what the breach for the NFLPA is. Is it the leadership thing, or is there a case somewhere around this? Or do they both know that Panini messed up and they both think they have a pretty good way to get out of this contract? That's what it makes me wonder. We saw the NFLPA do it. Now we're seeing WWE do it. So now I'm really wondering what the next move for them is, for sure.
Yeah, seems like Fanatics is about to have everything. Because also, I was reading earlier that UFC licenses are going to be ending at the end of the year too. So I'm expecting Fanatics to sweep them up. So
Oh, absolutely. And that's just a contract ending, right? That's not like a breach thing. That's just like a
yeah, that's just contract ending. I expect Tops to have them again. I know Tops used to have them way back when. The only reason I know that's because I looked at a couple of John Jones cards before the last time he fought. And all of his rookies are Tops, just straight Tops. So
yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how that plays out, personally. But from our perspective as breakers, right, as a company that's our primary source of income, right, is doing the actual breaks. Fanatics hasn't exactly done anything to help us out, like they made their selling programs. I believe what they're doing in the long run. I believe their intentions are good for the consumer as far as regulating price. I don't believe in price gouging and all that stuff either. What we see. But I'm curious to see what it means for us because I know like we don't have a brick and mortar store, so we can't, as of right now, we can't have a Topps buyer account. They're not doing to distributors. So at some point when they take over, unless they come out with another program for breakers or whatever, it's going to be tougher for us to get product. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So I'm very interested in see what happens. I'm interested in the WWE situation, interested in NFLPA's situation, because this is like do we have another 3-4 years to build those relationships with Fanatics, or is it like, no, this is it? On the flip side, I don't think that Fanatics is going to leave the breakers hanging, because they do have Fanatics Live. They've said multiple times that they think breaking is one of the ways of the future as far as selling cards and all this. So I'm optimistic. It's just there's unknown, and anytime there's unknown, you're excited, but you're also a little nervous because you don't know where you're going to go. And I know there's a lot of wholesalers and hobby shops who are also worried. So we're all kind of in this together, and we're gonna see what happens while these, massive companies just duke shit out to figure out the fate of the rest of the hobby. It's kind of a
Yeah.
wild time in the hobby.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen with all the brick and mortar shops and like all the hobby shops and stuff, like especially when Fanatics gets all this. Because if Fanatics does do online only, what's going to happen to your local card shop, for example? Like, are they just going to be sitting? It's going to be. It's crazy.
They're not gonna do online only. They've already like put out their new buyers program. So to get a Topps Direct account, you have to have a brick and mortar store, and they're gonna make you log your sales. Some of these guys are they're working as if they were working in their garage. A lot of these guys aren't businessmen. They're just into the hobby. They want to sell cards. So they're gonna require everybody to record transactions. They're going to require them to share the reports with Fanatics, and then Fanatics from there will look at what their business is and decide how much they're going to send them. They're going to regulate pricing so that you can't sell to resellers, and they're going to make you sell it for a certain price. Kind of like how the iPhone, right? The iPhone, no matter what store you go to, the iPhone is the same. No matter what carrier you go to, the iPhone price is the same. So I think Fanatics wants that. They want you to go into a store. If I'm going to get a hobby box of this and it's $350 on Panini's website, they want to see it $350 in every single store. So they want to play God in the hobby, basically. that's what they want to do.
They don't want to play God in the hobby. They want to play God in the sports world. We're going to be
in the sports world.
Here. They want the whole entire sports world.
In the entire sports world. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, I don't know if you. Speaking of sports merchandising, I don't know if you saw the pictures of the Kelly Green, Jalen Hurts shirts that were going around. There's a massive recall on them because every single one is like lopsided like this. They messed up all the shirts, so it's crazy. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. We'll definitely see what happens with that. It's going to be interesting.
We'll move on to new releases. I'll start us off with Flawless and Mosaic. So we had Flawless come out. We passed on it just because, honestly, we've been a little slow. And a lot of our higher end customers seem to be all taking it easy a little bit. So we had some concerns of filling. And to us, this is Flawless Baseball that I pulled up on the screen. Ignore it. It was just for the picture. But yeah, it's an awesome product. The price was kind of a little weird. And it looks like some people are filling it, which is cool. I've already seen some cool purdies and stuff pulled out of it. But I'm excited for it, but I don't know. It just kind of feels like, at least for our group, it just seemed like the demand for the higher end stuff was kind of like stuck in between, right? Like what I didn't want to do was have a bunch of Flawless, put it up there, and then have people waiting a week for it to close. Like we've been closing breaks a little slower, and it's really weird. They released Mosaic and Flawless in the same week, which kind of jacked everything up because now you're really splitting up the collectors. You're really splitting everybody up. You still got your people who want 2022. You got your people who are ready to move on to 2023. If you have them together, we fill breaks quick. Everybody's happy. You come, it rips. You get your cards quicker. Everything's good. When you have them split like this, which we've seen going on the last month or two, it's going to cause the breaks to go slower because there's only half the people that would fill a break are in this one. The other half are in this one, and we're kind of seeing that trickle. We elected to go with Mosaic to give people a refresher. I think the problem with Mosaic, however, is they're releasing it so early, right? Last year, we got these in like January. So people got to see all the rookies perform over the full season and make up their mind over who they want to chase or what teams they think are good teams. Now, like, people haven't really had that opportunity. You got the obvious ones, CJ Stroud, Bijan, all these guys. And what I was excited about Mosaic especially is because you don't have autos for Stroud, you don't have autos for Bryce and Levis and these other 2023 products. This is the first set where the parallels matter. You get a stained glass Bryce Young, and all these players. Like, it's exciting now. Now there's more of a chase. There's more teams out there, more reasons to get involved. You can get a gold Mosaic out of 10 of these guys. So I was excited for that, but I was a little underwhelmed by the excitement. We had 2 FOTL cases. We put one up on the We put one up in the group, and we're literally probably about to close it now. It's been up there since the beginning of the week. So a little surprised. I mean, a lot of factors go into this stuff, right? September, kids going back to school. Some people out there just don't have the dough to spend.
Yeah,
Again,
that's what Todd just said. Todd said the economy is slowing, and they said people are holding off even in different industries. And Todd, he works in a different industry. Obviously, he does all the lawn, all that stuff. So
hey, Todd will drop some knowledge on him. Every once in a while, the bot will come in, and he's
for
a man
real,
of few words. But when the bot comes in and he drops some shit on you, it
yeah,
usually
straight
means a little something,
OG,
something.
straight OG, straight OG.
Straight
His word
OG.
is bond. Straight OG, word is
But
bond.
hopefully we pick up tomorrow, Friday. For those of you watching this later, is Mosaic actual release day. So we've had first off the line all week. The actual regular hobby comes out. It'll be a little bit cheaper, obviously. We've got hit parades coming in. Our card breaker exclusive hit parades. We got 5 cases of those, so we'll have that. I know a
Yes,
lot of our
sir.
people love that. We're definitely excited about it. But as far as the new releases, we got Black coming out, I think, next week. I think FOTL is next week. And then the week after, Panini Black comes out. And then I think Gold Standard. And then after that, I don't think there's anything for a while. So we'll have to see we'll have to see where things go. But I'm hopefully Mosaic picks up. I'm excited for it for the weekend. And, that was what it was with Flawless. We'll kind of see where it goes. But it's 2 great products. This should be a jamming hot time for us. And it just really hasn't been. And I think a lot of that, though, has to do with the timing. I think that they kind of rushed Mosaic a little bit along, maybe because they were worried about all these licensing things. I don't know, but we'll have to see where it goes. Gilly, any thoughts on either of these products before we go to the next section?
I personally love Mosaic. I've always loved Mosaic. I love the honeycombs. I love the stained glasses, especially. And what was it? Those micro mosaics. Those cards look insane, bro.
Those are sick. Yeah, those are new and those
So
are really cool. Super short prints.
maybe you should show a picture of that real quick. Those micro mosaics, so people know what we're talking about. It's like
Uh,
I don't even know. It reminds me of a pixelated, like God. It's like a close up, like '70s card, but
yeah,
like pixelated. It's sick.
yeah. I'll see if I can
See,
find one real quick. Let me see.
I know they're on eBay.
Everything's on eBay.
Everything's on eBay. Everything is on eBay. Also, going live on eBay tonight for our boy Paul. We graded a National Treasures Kenny Pickett at a 99 true RPA for him. That is going to be on our eBay live tonight. I'm not sure what the starting bid is going to be at, but it is a PSA 9 Auto 10. It's going to be a big card. There's going to be a big demand for it. So if you guys want to go and check that out, that should definitely be up on there shortly after the show or sometime later tonight. 6-set card nonetheless.
Yes, indeed. I think I found the card here.
You did? Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
So that's a
look,
Joe
look,
Burrow
look.
one. 2023 first off the line. Joe Burrow, Michael
Shout out
Mosaic.
Tom. Shout out Tom. He said pop 3, baby. Tom said pop 3. Came out the cut, said pop 3, baby.
So,
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that card is absolutely dope.
yeah, so that's new. Another super short print, which we love that. As Tom says, case hits galore. so, yeah, for sure. Definitely excited about Mosaic. And yeah, Paul. Shout out to Paul. We got his card going up on the Card Breakers eBay account. Tom's gonna take care of that later on. And we'll move on to recent performances. Gilly, start us off, bro. Who's first?
I'll start us off, but Scott said, what do you do with Fields now? I have a nice Spectra out of 10 RPA. Wait about 5 to 10 minutes. Well, I'll tell you what to do with it.
You know what? If that's the case, why don't we just start off with Fields?
You know what? Yeah, screw it. Let's start off with
do
Fields. Throw the Fields picture up. Yeah, start a Fields picture up. Let's not make you wait on that.
Try to find it. There it is. Talk about Justin Fields. We were going to talk about him anyway. He was on Gilly's list, Scott. He was on Gilly's list for our.
Do you have the Fields?
What is it? The sell, buy, or hold?
Yeah, sell, buy. Okay, so this card in particular, the Silver Prism PSA 10, pop 374. In the last 2 weeks, this card has seen a loss of 26.32%. That is on 15 sales, though. Keep in mind. The median price has been about 401 in that time frame. In the last month, the card has dropped 41.67%. which was 27 sales, and the high price in the last year of this card was 705. With Fields, you're not going to want to sell him now. You're going to want to hope that they turn this around. I'm sure everybody heard the Chicago Bears news like in the last couple of days. Justin Fields is collecting him. The defensive coordinator's house getting raided. All these crazy false reports of house all getting raided. Bunch of crazy stuff going on in Chicago right now. I would like to think it's the first 2 weeks of the season and they turn it around, but they need to figure out if they're going to use this dude as a pure pocket passer or if they're going to let him use his leg first and do, passing second. They need to find a nice mixture of that, like Lamar Jackson, in my opinion. I had a PSA 9 Silver Prism variant of Fields that I sold for a little bit low. It was last season, then he skyrocketed up, which whatever. But yeah, no, Fields, I would definitely hold on to Fields right now for a little bit. You got to see what they're doing because as of right now, offensive coordinator might be, who knows, maybe more coaches are getting fired. He finds his groove and things. It's the first 2 weeks, of the NFL season. They don't tell that. It tells a decent amount, but it doesn't tell the whole entire picture. It's a very small sample size. Todd, Solo Cup have something in it? Maybe Todd.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a buyer on Fields. If there's one thing I know as a Jet fan, it's quarterbacks who are set up, poorly, right? Quarterbacks who are destined to fail. Unfortunately, as a Jet fan, I've seen it happen. It's not that I don't think Fields is talented enough. I do. I just don't think that they put him in a position to do well. And they just got a new coach who he clearly is not getting along with and doesn't like it. I mean, the dude straight up threw his coach under the bus. He literally said maybe it's the coaching. It's like, that's pretty, that's pretty shitty. And meanwhile, there's been a lot of clips. Granted, clips you got to take with a grain of salt. People can clip good and bad from every game, from every player, but a lot of clips of Fields just not seeing wide open dudes. But you know what? Maybe the plays they're calling for him aren't what he's comfortable with. Maybe that's not the kind of quarterback he wants to be. Maybe he wants to be more in a West Coast style where he gets to move around a little bit more. I don't know. But when you have a quarterback, you got to build it the right way. The 49ers know, the Green Bay Packers know how to set up a quarterback, right? We've seen it. Even Jordan Love, he comes in here looking like a veteran already. Granted, he's been around the league, but technically is a veteran. But he looks like he's been starting every day for the last 3 or 4 years. So my problem with Fields is not so much Fields, but I think the situation has a lot to do with it with these players, and I'm a little worried about the situation the Bears are putting Fields in and just expecting him to succeed, kind of like what the Jets did with Sam Darnold, kind of like what the Jets did initially with Zach Wilson. You're not really giving him. I mean, they went out and got Moore. I think Moore's a stud. That's not a knock on him. But now you went out and got a coach who doesn't fit. Kind of like it reminds me of when the Jets went out and said, you know what Sam Darnold needs? Adam Gase. That's what it reminds me of. You know what I mean? That's that's what I think. Danny, what are your thoughts on Justin Fields, bro? You know football.
Justin Fields, listen, he didn't show any promise last game at all. Like you said, with the blown passes. I mean, the replay showed it. I mean, they were wide open. I mean, he had all that time in the world, and he just scrambled in the pocket. He didn't move. He just scrambled in the pocket. Didn't try to extend the play and stuff like that. He just ran into people. While he had 2-3 guys open. You know what I mean? It's just you got to be aware of that. The pro quarterback, you gotta be able to. What's up?
You're absolutely right. It's interesting though because I saw the same clip. We all saw the same clips, right? Him missing the open guys.
Yeah.
But his responses to that were that he's overthinking, probably because of the coaching. That's what he said. So you wonder, what does he mean by that? You see wide open dude. Yeah. Were you taught, listen, you might see an open guy, but don't throw it to him because there'll probably be a second open guy deeper down the field. You're like, what do you mean how are you overthinking this? You got 2 dudes wide the hell open. And if you are overthinking it, why is it on your coach? You see 2 guys open. You know what throws you can make. Make the damn throw. Just throw it. That's what you're paying to do. Throw the fucking ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's trying to steer away from the problem. I personally, that's what I feel. A coach is not going to coach you not to throw it to an open man. You know what I mean? Like that's just
You would hope not.
Yeah.
Unless you're Adam Gase,
you
you
know.
never know, bro.
Yeah, Todd said Fields is on his own. Yeah. And then Sal said, "Is that a swoosh on Danish's chest?" Hey, that's not just a swoosh. That's a big ass
Swoosh
swoosh.
That's a
That's
that's
a-
a check mark. He's wearing the check marks for me and Tristan because he slaughtered the Jets and he slaughtered the the
Yeah.
Giants. So he just
Bro,
checked
this
us all
dude-
off. He's checking
This
us
dude's
off.
fits are so goddamn calculated. It's messed up, bro. It's got me fucked up. Not gonna lie.
All right, we'll go to the next
Speaking-
player, Gilly. Should we go back to the
Daniel-
beginning?
I'm going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
We're going back to the beginning. We're going back to DJ8, Daniel Jones. Gotta talk about him. Gotta talk about that 20-point comeback. We looked like absolute trash in that first half. Don't know what happened. Dable basically said, "Oh, I didn't call calls in the second half." Yes, you did. You had the damn playbook in your hand. You had it in your hand. Stop making the offensive coordinator look good. Stop making him look good. You called those plays and you know you did. Shit on your offensive coordinator. He deserves it. But let's go on to Daniel Jones. His Silver Prism PSA, which is a pop of 197, has seen a drop-off of 35.59% in the last 3 months, which was only 5 sales. The last sale is for 202 on September 11th, but this is where it gets really interesting with Daniel Jones. The last year, the chart shows that his card, that card specifically, has shot up 69.78%, which was 62 sales. The average price around the card has been hovering around 203. The high price in the last year has been 325. Listen, does Daniel Jones shoot back up to 325? Daniel Jones shoots back up to 325 if he could actually prove why he got paid $40 million this year and could actually, be a little bit more consistent. But a lot of that is on the offensive line. Our offensive line right now is decimated. It's straight dog shit. I'm not even going to deny that. Our wide receivers are very interesting. For some reason, we have like 5 slot receivers on the team. We don't have that true number one guy. I hope that true number one guy eventually develops into Hyatt, because when we did use Hyatt, the couple of times that we did, he showed that he was good. He ran his routes correctly. He used his speed. His speed is his biggest tool. He was just beating everybody out. Just Jalen Hyatt being on the field for Daniel Jones is just a weapon in itself. He's just a distraction. And just for that, you get people like Waller open. You get Paris Campbell open, Saquon Barkley, everybody like that. So you keep Hyatt on that field. We get the ball distributed a little bit more. Daniel Jones, his decision-making gets tightened up a little bit because in the last couple of years, it wasn't the best. But I will say this about last year, his decision-making since when he was like a second, third-year guy, he has gone up dramatically, especially with Dable there. He doesn't fumble the ball as much. He actually goes through his reads, and if there's no reads, he uses his legs. His legs are one of his biggest resources. The price of, 202 for a Silver Prism PSA 10 with that low of a pop. This is a homer take for me. Yeah, I'm obviously going to ask you guys. It's a homer take for me. I think you buy it. I think you buy it. Oh, yeah, Todd, shout out Wandale, too. Wandale's coming back tonight.
There was one word you said that I think sums up everything about Danny Jones. It was one word that you just nailed it, and that word was tool. No. But I think he's proven a lot to me. When they drafted this dude, I was like, yo, who is this guy? Like seriously, when they drafted him, who is this guy? But he's shown that the dude can ball. He can run. I mean, you don't look like nothing. You look at him, you wouldn't think. He just looks like another version of Eli Manning or something. Who is not
Eli Manning
for,
Jr.
Well, you're right. Who's not known for speed, but the dude can run. He's like an evolved Manning. He can actually run. The Giants, they got Saquon. You got Darren Waller. Outside of that, you haven't really helped him out with weapons, right? Like Zach Wilson got Garrett Wilson at least to lean on, right? What if you guys haven't done it? You've had a really shitty streak with receivers. Sterling Shepard, Kenny Galladay, like the guys you have went out and got, who looked like they were pretty good on their own teams at the time. For some reason, it didn't work out. Maybe it's the turf. I don't know. But that being said, what I think Danny Jones
I don't know who Kenny Galladay
him,
is. No idea who Kenny Galladay is, by the way. I don't know that dude.
Yeah, I don't think any Giant fan remembers who Kenny Galladay is.
I don't know the fuck that is, to be honest with you.
I think what Danny Jones has going for him as far as his cards is he is a New York Giant. It's a massive market. We're talking about New York here. If he does happen, we've seen the Giants make magic happen with Super Bowls. If Danny Jones can at least make them, all he has to do right now is make them actually relevant. Right? Last year we saw a little spike in his shit because the Giants actually made the playoffs, so they were something.
Beat the
That's
Vikings.
all he's really got to do
Vikings.
for the next beat the Vikings. If he can get them a step further, if he can even get them in the NFC Championship, and you already have his card, you could probably make a few bucks. Do I think he's a long-term hold? That's a PC thing. You're really only gonna be able to sell him to PC. And my problem with Danny Jones, as far as long-term holding, is personality. That plays a big part in this shit. You know, like we'll talk about another guy that you have. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But we've seen things like that. Deion Sanders, foreshadowing. Who we'll talk about. He's got personality, so there's no surprise that we might see a spike in his shit somewhere down the road if he gets relevant. With Daniel Jones, it's kind of the same problem as Eli. It's just bland. Like you want marketability. If you're investing in a player, it's the same reason the sponsors invest in players. They want marketability too. So my biggest problem long term, marketability. Do I think there's a chance to make some money on the in between? Giants fans are emotional as hell, right, Tristan? So yeah, if he takes them to an NFC Championship, people will look to buy his cards, and you can make a few bucks if you happen to have a few. I'll leave it at that.
Dan, speaking of emotional as hell, you should have opened up the podcast with the video of me bugging out that we had that comeback. I just thought of that.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one to play.
That would have been a good one.
Well, make sure you make us a video for next week of how the Niners game is going. Make us a few clips.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if that'd be safe. Forget safe for work. I don't know if that's going to be safe for life, bro. I don't know if it's going to be safe. Yeah, no, that game starts in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah, that's not safe for life right there. I'm scared. All right, so going into our next guy, though, Desmond Ridder. This one's very interesting to me because I personally don't even know how I feel about him. His Silver Prism PSA 10, which is a pop of 168, has seen a drop-off of 9.42% in the last month, which was 25 sales. The last sales for 176 on September 16th. The median price in the last year of the card has been 232, so it's dropped down a little bit. But the interesting part of the last year is only dropped 1.32%, which from some other quarterbacks that I've seen in the last couple of weeks since doing his podcast and getting all this information, he hasn't really dropping off all that much. And that was like 65 sales in that time frame. His all-time high in the last year was 304. Apparently, the NFC South looks like it's a really good division, and he has two elite running backs now with Algier and Bijan, because I have Bijan in one of my leagues, and he's just vulturing all of Bijan's like touches. That team looks pretty good. Drake London looks good. Kyle Pitts, I don't even want to talk about him. That dude's just wasting away there at this point in Atlanta. I don't even know why they have him, if you want my honest opinion. Desmond Ridder at that price that he just sold at 165. I mean, if you could see if you could get a little bit of a dip there, or even at that price. I mean, if they make a little bit of noise in the season, nice little playoff push, I could see making a couple of bucks on Desmond Ridder. But, at the same time, it's like, what if Desmond Ridder gets injured, then that team just like is tragic, and then they'll go and get Caleb Williams. Desmond Ridder is a weird one to say buy or sell right now. I would give it like at least a couple more weeks to sell for Ridder. But if you are looking to buy Ridder, obviously buyer beware. If he gets injured, he hasn't looked terrible, but he hasn't looked amazing. He's looked, mediocre. He looks serviceable. He looks serviceable, in my personal opinion.
He's looked Mark Sanchez-esque, right? Like capable of managing a good team. Mark Sanchez went to back-to-back AFC championships. He was never good, but he did manage to get a good team there, right? And that's kind of what I get.
Yeah, he's just like Mark Sanchez, but with less ass in the face.
Yo, shout out ass in the face. Josh Allen did that shit week 1, bro. No one talked about it. Josh Allen did the same exact.
Not only did he do it, but Sanchez was smart with the tweet. Did you see the tweet he made after it happened?
Yes. Yeah,
it was something clever, like he ran into his lineman's butt, like weird, or something like that. Shout out
He's
to
like
Mark,
weird. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah. But With that being said, I'm not saying that I think Ritter is doomed to be Mark Sanchez. I just kind of that's what I see for him now. He's got a lot of time to get better. I think the Falcons are doing a pretty good job of giving him weapons. He's got Drake London, a guy to kind of grow with. They got Bijan Robinson, a guy to actually like take some pressure off him. Kyle Pitts, they're not using him, but another guy that he can kind of grow with. So I like what they're doing for him down there. I think he's in a decent situation. For that reason, I'd say buy, because I think if you're going to sell Ritter, the time to do it is before the season. So like if you're going to sell, you sell him before next season, because people are going to wait to see him take another jump. So sell the hype. And if he's mediocre, you're out of it already, right? The problem I have with Ritter is the way he plays now. You do get concerned that if the Falcons get better without him, he could be replaced, right? Like, say he gets hurt, they go get Gardner Minshew, whoever. Who's like, that's bullshit hypotheticals. I know he's under contract with another team.
God damn it, Gardner Minshew should be a starting quarterback, but keep going.
Just saying, say they do it, and he does better than Ritter. You know, like it's gonna put him in a weird spot. And because Ritter wasn't a top 5 lottery pick, there's no real attachment there. Like, look at the Jets with Zach Wilson. They are trying every bit of their might to give him every opportunity they possibly can so that they don't take an L on him. Joe Douglas does not want to take an L on Wilson because he was a number 2 overall pick. If he was a 3rd round pick, 2nd round pick, whatever, they've been moved on from him. Gardner Minshew would be the Jets starting quarterback right now from the offseason as a backup for Rodgers. You know what I mean? So that shit does matter. So because of that, there's a little bit less security. But at the same time, like, he was never all that expensive anyway. So it's a way to get in on a quarterback who's young. He's still relatively cheap for the market of the elites, you know, whatever. And I think that, I think the organization is actually not putting him in the worst positions. I think they're putting him in these positions. So I'm cool buying him. And like I said, just offload him in the offseason if you're not buying it, you know.
And on the complete opposite of young and slightly hyped, we are going to go to old, and the hype is through the goddamn roof. Deion Sanders, specifically this 1989 Topps traded. The pop is 3172 on the PSA 10. This card has seen a growth of 16.26% in the last 2 weeks. Median price during this was $124.97. In the last month alone, this specific card has seen a 51.88% growth, with Colorado's hype at an all-time high. The high price in the last year was $143.32. So, you want my honest opinion about this card? If you got it, good for you. For a PC, awesome. If you have it and you can make a couple of bucks, awesome. Do you want to buy it right now? No. It's just hype. Colorado is a dope team. I don't even watch college football, and I'm still tuned into Colorado games, to my honest answer. It's just Shador and Travis Hunter and all that. It's just something about them. They got like some moxie that's like, oh, word. I actually want to watch their games. Like I said, I don't watch college at all. The only time I really paid attention to college was Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, so, Travis Hunter's out another 2 weeks.
Out 3 weeks.
Yeah,
like 30.
Two-way player in college. You don't see that.
That was a dirty hit.
Bro, imagine that dude, Travis Hunter, goes to the league as a 2-way player. That's like an Ohtani for football. That's insane.
I don't know if they'll let him do that in the NFL. That's because we're not just talking about a guy that can play both ways. We're talking about a dude that plays like almost every snap on both sides. That's tough. That is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a different type of dog. That's a different type of dog, bro.
Yeah.
But listen, I will say this. I will back this up. The most underrated player in the NFL is Taysom Hill, yo. Taysom Hill.
What the fuck? What?
Taysom Hill, absolutely. He could play quarterback.
Taysom Hill underrated. Bro, the underrated Taysom Hill, bro. No, underrated is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the most underrated player. Kirk Cousins is the most underrated player in the league. I know goddamn Taysom. Who the hell cares? No one talks about Taysom Hill because nobody cares about Taysom Hill. Who gives a shit about Taysom Hill other than Saints fans? Who cares about Taysom Hill? Who cares about Taysom Hill? Nobody. Who cares about Taysom Hill? Nobody. In the car market, who cares about Taysom Hill? Nobody. In the NFL world, who cares about Taysom Hill? Nobody. Saints fans are the only ones that care about Taysom Hill. We don't give a shit about Taysom Hill. Oh shit, Taysom Hill. We can put him in a quarterback in our fantasy league or a tight end and he'll get us 20 points. Like, once or twice a season. Oh, man, who the hell gives a shit about Taysom Hill?
Yo,
Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill? No, come on, dude.
what did
No.
Taysom Hill do to you, bro?
Taysom Hill did nothing to me. That was just the most
You
preposterous
definitely
shit.
lost a fantasy game because he was at tight end 1 week.
No, bro, come on,
I
can't
didn't.
They're not underrated. You can't tell me
Taysom
that.
Hill's not underrated. Taysom Hill is perfectly rated. No one gives a
That man
shit
can
about
play
him.
4 positions, bro. They put him more into the offense, bro. I'm telling you.
Taysom Hill is Team Tebow
Danny
if his
said-
NFL career worked out.
Danny is saying this because he has a Taysom Hill signed helmet, so there's bias there.
No, listen, that is not because of that.
That is literally the most biased
not
shit I've
because
ever.
That is not.
Yo,
That is
shout
not.
out Tom said CK left him at tight end for a month. Is that true, CK?
In the season long, yeah, absolutely. But that was when he was doing a thing with Jameis, so he was pretty much like the halftime. He was like half a quarterback. But going back to Dion, I think so because you might not get another spike like this. Like you sell the hype. This dude's hype is through the roof, like Tristan said. Eventually, people may get sick of this. They're playing Oregon this week. They might get slaughtered, right? And listen, they were 26-point favorites against Colorado State. There was a little storyline, a little shit talking going on. They won, but they didn't cover. But in college, the look-ahead game is a big deal. So they got this team coming up that's not ranked, whatever, knowing they got Oregon coming up next. I'm sure a lot of those dudes in the back of their mind are thinking about that Oregon game. And so, I think that why wait for all that? Sell him now. Make your money now. The hype is real now. He's 2-0, baby. He just came off a big overtime win, baby. Let's go. Sell it now. It's prime time. But eventually people are going to settle in. Him being a coach is just going to be another thing. And I don't know if there's anything that's going to spike his cards after this. So if you have Dion, old Dion, sell it, man. It's your chance to make some money here. Do it. Who's next?
You know what's funny? You know who's next? Defensive players in general are next. I chose 2 defensive players, in my personal opinion, that I see winning Defensive Player of the Year. And this is just more of a segment of, do we buy defensive players? Do we invest in defensive players outside of a PC? So the first one is actually TJ Watt. His Silver Prism PSA 10, which is a pop $3.99, has seen a drop-off of 6.10% in the last month, which was 8 sales. I'm surprised there wasn't more sales on that, especially after that Browns-Steelers game where he had his first defensive touchdown, and he is now the Steelers' all-time sack leader, which I actually found very surprising for as little as for as long as he's been in the league. The median price of the card in that time frame was $105.93. The median price was the median price in the last year was $107.29 with 66 sales, with it reaching a high price of $200. If he was a defensive player of the year, do we expect the card to shoot up? Obviously, maybe it reaches the high point at 200. Maybe it doesn't. Defensive players are a weird, they're really weird. And I get everybody wants their quarterbacks, their skill positions, all that. That's where the big money is. But in my opinion, I think defensive player cards are just underrated. Me and CK have had this conversation multiple times. We had it once, a couple months back, and we're just looking at shit, just bullshit. I'm looking at Darrelle Revis on just Darrelle Revis rookie cards, JJ Watt. They don't go for as much as you expect for. Defensive players are more of a PC. And while I'm also on the subject of TJ Watt, I'll also mention Micah Parsons. We have the Micah Parsons PSA 10 silver, which is a pop 139. I couldn't get the exact numbers on it, so I had to go on 130.0 look. His Silver Prism PSA 10 has been hovering around 190. This dude has a Micah Parsons jersey on standby. What the? Okay. So his jersey has been hovering around the 190 to 200 mark in the last couple of days. Before the season,
he's hovering. This jersey's hovering right now.
Before the season, he could have gotten the same card for around 150 to 170-ish. So you see with Micah, there's definitely a hype there, but you also got to consider that that's the Cowboys. Cowboys are one of the biggest passionate fan bases in the whole entire world. So Micah Parsons, he's always going to be a big sell, but him and TJ Watt are about in the same range of price. If I was to buy one of these cards, I'd buy the Micah Parsons. That's just me, though, personally. Micah Parsons is just straight up goddamn animal. What he does on the football field sometimes shouldn't even be legal. He's just nuts. And I don't mean legal like he's a dirty player, because he's not a dirty player. He says some weird shit. I've heard him say some really weird shit, but he's a pretty stand-up guy from what I've seen, and he's a pretty, clean player. So I have nothing bad to say about Micah Parsons. What's your opinions on the defensive player, CK?
I think they're underrated. I think it's a shame. I love defensive players personally. As a football fan, I love it. Like Sauce. How do you not love Sauce as a Jets fan, right? How do you not love Micah as a Cowboy? But overall, and you can see the trends with the leagues. What's the NFL doing? Trying to find a way to score more points. What's baseball doing? Trying to find a way to get the hitters to hit more home runs and speed the game up. The same way pitchers don't
Even
really get as
basketball,
much
too.
love. Basketball too. The same way pitchers don't get as much love on baseball. Like, you got the best pitcher in the world. The guy that hit more home runs that year is going to sell for more because people want home runs. That's what they want. So it just kind of sucks, but like we can't control demand in that way. So that's why defensive players are always going to be PCs, because you can't control demand. And the demand is very clearly the people who score touchdowns, specifically, really, the people who throw touchdowns. But nowadays, I will say this, though. If you want to collect these things, one, you could be there's a smaller market of people who collect defensive players. And number two, or invest in them.
Me.
Number two, nowadays, bro, like they got podcasts, all different things. All these players have their own outlets and ways of building up their own fan base. I think Micah has his own show. Doesn't he have his own podcast or something like that?
Yeah, he's got his own
It's
podcast. Yeah.
He's on Bleacher Report of all things, which is really weird. But yeah,
So nowadays, people have ways of building up their marketability from other things, and they can do things, right? Like I said, marketability is a big thing, and it's taken a big leap from what it was back then with Twitter, whatever you want. So I will say that I think it's a shame as of right now. It just sucks, but they don't hold value as well as offensive players, specifically quarterbacks. But I do hope that changes. I hope that changes because I like these guys and it's fun. And these guys are fucking good, man. Sometimes the best players in the league in the whole league are on defense. You know what I mean? So no, it's a shame. Swelly, that's your boy, bro. Go ahead, talk about your boy a little bit.
Yeah, Micah might be making a claim for the best player in the NFL, as much as I hate to say it. But yeah, you go, Danny. Talk about your boy.
Listen, what's more?
Oh wait. Also, I have a question for you live on the podcast. I wanted to say this to you live on the podcast. Why does you're like I was talking about Mike with you in a text, and he kept sending lion emojis. Why are you doing that? Like, does he like call himself like a lion or something?
Yeah,
like
a lion. No, you didn't know that?
But he plays for the Cowboys.
What?
I don't get. He plays for the Cowboys. I don't get that. He plays for the Cowboys. I don't get that. That's very strange to me.
The Nittany Lions, bro.
Oh,
okay. Look at Swelly pulling the shit out the bag.
Yo, look at.
I got knowledge, yo. I got knowledge. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Look at him dropping knowledge on me. I didn't even think
worry.
about that. Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah, but no, he calls himself a lion, yo. So
he does play like a lion when he's out there, especially against Zach Wilson. That one sack.
He attacks his prey. That's it. He attacks his prey.
That one play he had on Zach Wilson where he just like straight up went through the offensive line and just like killed Zach Wilson. I saw that shit and I was just like, damn.
There's nothing, Chris, there's no other feeling in a football game of feeling like, oh, I'm fucked, than seeing him running at you with nobody in the way.
Him or Aaron Donald, bro. Yeah, duh.
Like there's nothing there's no shot of like I'm gonna get away or I gotta spin. You're just looking like I'm done. Like I'm just like.
Yeah. Did you see that video of Geno Smith? It was like last week or whatever.
And he yelled.
He was like, "Oh my god!" I mean, Aaron Donald.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't say, "Oh my god." I'd be a little bit more expletive, but I'd be tweaking, bro. I'd be tweaking.
You have to change your draws there, young Gilly. They'd be doing a different kind of dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely be doing some dirties. All right, game's about to start. Let's wrap this up. Let me get into my T. Gilly top five.
Let's go.
All right, at Number 5, we have the 1 of 1 Derrick Henry Audible Mosaic. We actually pulled this card. What was it? You pulled this last night, correct?
Yes. That Mosaic
Yeah, you pulled.
FOTL, baby.
Yeah, this is a Mosaic FOTL 101 Derrick Henry. It's for our boy Michael. You actually might have seen him on TV in a damn in a Titans blazer.
Yeah, the
That's what he's
Titans
throwing for
blazer.
Yeah, it was week 1. If you watch the game week 1, if you watch the Titans game week 1, you saw him in a Titans blazer against the Saints. That was really funny to see because I'm on Facebook, I just see him tags and all the shit, and I was like, wait, I was like, that's him, and it was like a weird surreal moment.
It was cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was cool. Yeah, we actually have another one of our members getting married at a Raiders game later in the season too. That's pretty sick too.
It's our boy Don.
Yeah, Don getting married at I think it's a game in November if I'm not mistaken. Getting married right in the end zone.
Yeah.
At number 4, we have Jahmyr Gibbs at a 99 red auto. Jahmyr Gibbs, straight monster. Dave Montgomery's got injured, so the Lions should be letting him loose more. This is for our boy, Mark the Shark. Shout out my boy, Mark the Shark. Straight card breakers OG. Love that guy to death. Cool as hell. His son's got Big Ten offers and shit. He's 14 years old. He would beat the hell out of any of us, that kid. He's just a straight brute. But yeah, no. This Jahmyr Gibbs card, absolutely sick. Pulled that also out of FOTL last night. So yeah, we'll go into number 3, a little bit of baseball here. We have the Adley Rutschman out of 25 Ascension Bowman Chrome. That is a sick card. You got the color match on there as well. Adley Rutschman, one of the top catchers in the game, if not the top catcher right now. I hate to say it as a Yankees fan. Adley's just a straight beast. He's going to terrorize my team for a very, very long time. And then at number 2, it could be number 1, but the number 1 is a straight banger, bro. At number 2, we have the Ethan Salas first Bowman auto. The hype is real on this kid. He's this catcher out of Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken. He's 17 years old. Everyone thinks he's going to be the next biggest thing. He's probably going to be really good. If you have a car like this, congratulations, because you're making yourself a lot of money. Hopefully in the long term too, because he's going to be good. He's going to be real good. But at number 1, this card, straight banger. I know the last comp I saw in it, I think it was 1385, if I'm not mistaken, Tom showed me. Anthony Richardson out of 10. Gold cracked ice RPA out of Legacy. This one was the first on the print. Nice little dual patch auto. Absolute insane card. We all saw Anthony Richardson did week 2 before he got concussed. That kid, he's a threat. He's a problem. He's like Cam Newton with a bigger arm. It's absolutely insane. This Anthony Richardson card, shout out to Jeff. Jeff is always in our fillers and stuff. He's a big part of why some of these breaks do get filled, just because of everything that he does. All love for Jeff. But yeah, no, that card is sick, and honestly, couldn't go to somebody more deserving than Jeff, if you want my honest answer. Sometimes he'd be putting the nation on his back.
I love it. By the way, guys, before we get into our picks and wrap this up, we got one team left. Our Mosaic FOTL half case break. We got the Bucks doing a $10 discount. Somebody take them, close us out. Everything else is ready to rock. We can rip right after the show. So somebody pop over there and claim the Bucks. Let's get this rolling. That being said, time for some picks. Gilly, you want to start us off? Then we'll go Danny. Then we'll go me. We'll make it quick and get out of here so Swelly can watch. Gilly can watch his game.
I'm 0 for 2. Saints at Packers. I'm choosing the Packers to win.
Boom. What's the spread?
I don't know the spread off the top of my head, but I go on money line.
Money line.
I'll look at the spread real quick.
Danny Danish.
1.5.
Same thing.
What
was it? Okay. I actually got a couple. Well, of course, I got to go to Cowboys. That's just, they're playing the Cardinals. I got to tell you. What's it called? I got San Fran. You know, obviously they're gonna get slaughtered the
Throw that
Giants.
in there. Troll City, baby, love it.
And then I also got. I actually this is gonna be a curveball. I'm going to Commanders against the Bills. They're plus 6.5. I do like it. I do like it.
I'm not even gonna
Must
comment
say.
on that one. That's
I don't hate it just because, and one thing with the sports betting is like perception is everything. Vegas makes the
Yeah.
perception is everything. They just saw the Bills slaughter the Raiders. You know what I mean? So I could see people thinking like, "Oh, the Commanders, that's just easy money." You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the same time, that's a scary one. I'm going with the Jets. I'll be at the game. Tom will be at the game. Swellington will be at the game. So it's a family affair, card breakers event. Jets Patriots this Sunday, Jet Life Stadium. You know how we do. It's a must win for the Jets. It's a must win for the Patriots, but I think the Jets come out on top at home with the backing of the crowd. So I'll take the Jets. It's 2.5.
Can't
If
be
I
Jet
can,
Life.
I'm gonna buy it up to 3. You know, get used to it, baby.
it. Can't be Jet Life. You haven't got to win there yet. We haven't got to win there yet. It's not Giant Life. It's not Jet Life. None of us got to
Bro.
win there yet.
Didn't we win?
Who stopped
Didn't
you
we
from
beat the
that?
Bills? Pretty sure we beat the Bills.
Oh yeah, you did beat the Bills. Oh my
At
god,
home.
I'm going crazy.
At home, baby. So yeah,
You
we're
did.
rocking with it. Jet Life Stadium.
Forget what I
Let's go.
said.
All right. So normally I'd do outros, but we're just gonna get out of here so we can go watch the game. So for Gilly, for Danish, shout out to Tom. Couldn't make it this week. Should be back next week. We'll have him back on. And have a good night.
Peace out.